me tell you a story. Once upon a time, there was an all-powerful eldritch being named, well, the murder god works for our purposes. She lived in an endless void of red string and white nothing, unbothered by petty things like time and space. There she could create anything she desired, worlds beyond your wildest dreams. It was wonderful, but she was all alone, and she had a job to do. The murder god could peer past the veil into the worlds beyond her little void. There she heard billions of souls crying out, their dearest wishes cast into the dark like fishing lines. The murder god answered, taking those strings and weaving them into a lovely little tale. She granted their wishes to the best of her abilities. All she asked for in return was that the souls play a little game, Discord Murder Party, a fun game night with friends where nothing bad happens.
And that's the hook. What's up, fam? It's Bro Dingles. I'm about to tell you about this thing called Discord Murder Party, and it's a long but fulfilling experience, and I want you to be able to jump into it. If you're new, I hope you have fun, and if you're not, I hope you snort and go, huh, yeah, it was like that. Okay, so from the beginning, the title of the show really is Discord Murder Party. Yes, we accidentally stole it from Jackbox, but it's catchy, so we keeping it. The basis of DMP is that we play Mafia / Werewolf / Town of Salem / not really Secret Hitler, but it's a distant cousin, and you kinda get the gist. There are 10 players, 2 are dirty secret killers, and you gotta find them before they kill a bunch of people, or you lose. So, you know, we play a couple rounds every 2 weeks at 7 CST, and that's it, right? Nothing else to it? Wrong! This version of Mafia has an overarching plot! The GM, Kristen, and her buddy Alex decided to drop a bombshell that, oh wait, Alex's goofy scientist character, Dr. McGillicuddy, who says, watch, has actually been playing the game for centuries, basically, and the GM is actually the literal god of murder, who calls herself the Murder God. And we were like, whoa, what the heck is going on? Why are you handing me a character sheet? So then we all created characters that none of us could tell the others about. We go a few more rounds. Okay, cool. Things have obviously changed, but you know we can't have any bigger surprises here. Well, bam! Here comes a sad war scenario with the kid dying in someone's arms. And who's that character? His name is Vincent Marshall Reed. And he's here to kick the actual plot in gear because he just did a thing called awakening. You know, like going from being asleep to being not asleep. Murder God apparently has been getting pissy with him, so she woke him up and dude straight up just refused to go back, so the two of them made a deal. Vincent gets everyone else up and MG has to let them go. And he's like, bet. So Vincent and McGillicuddy mess around for a bit trying to figure out what the game's plan's gonna be, and this one dude who calls himself Thomas tries to wake up too while he's high in a slasher scenario. So Vincent's like, bet. So he pushes him to try to tip him over, and dude definitely goes over because he's all glitchy and broken now. So Vincent is like, okay, that could have gone better. And the doctor's like, yeah, probably. We should probably get some help. And then one chick just kind of makes her presence known like, yo, I was probably a detective. And the doc and Vinny are like, that sounds incredibly helpful. So they wake this one up at a garden party, and it's a good thing her name is Detective Grace Garden. And they're like, oh, cool, new person who's good at finding clues and solving mysteries. But their bad luck streak continues because not only is she not the greatest detective, she has a split personality called the host, who's kind of the overly emotional yin to the detective's wet blanket yang, so they're like, oh. And she clings to the doctor like, I need you to fix me. And he's like, I ain't that kind of doctor. And also, you're probably fine. And then they talk about her not needing to be fixed, but I'm gonna move on. Don't worry about it. This thread continues through season 2. It'll come up later, I promise. So after calming Grace down enough to get some stuff done, they get back to Thomas, who's in eternal pain, which we found out was normal for him because guess who awakened next and whose story we found out next? Yep, it's him. Turned out in his past life he was sick in the hospital. Some dude named Jason Vile totally swindled the guy out of his soul and killed him before his school-time sweetheart could get to him. But like, the guy's name was literally Jason Vile? What do you expect? A reflection, aka a person from the past a character knows and had an attachment to, but not like actually them, more like a ghost of them based off how the character remembers them, shows up and it's his sweetheart Angelina, and she's like, babe, and he's like, babe. And then Thomas, who apparently got his own name wrong and is actually Tommy, which is part of why he broke in the first place, lewdly held hands with his almost girlfriend, and that's the end of season 1. So before I get into season 2, just making sure you're good on terminology. Awakening. Going from being asleep to being awake. Remembering your story and the deal you made with MG to get into the not Mafia game. Reflection. Visions of someone an awakening person knows, but how they remember seeing them, not necessarily how they were. Those are kind of important. Good? Good. Okay, so season 2. We come in on the gang and they have a pleasant time on a cruise ship because things can be pleasant sometimes. Oh wait, no they can't, because someone named Christine Forks gets up to say no fun allowed, and then she slams the snooze button and goes right back to sleep without fully doing the story thing, and Murder God goes all anime genius, all according to Keikaku, and the Awakened are like, heck, so they go look for someone else to join their gang. They stumble upon good southern boy Percy Blackwood, who apparently does not hate the Murder God, unlike most of the Awakened at this point, and even thinks of her as a muse. It turns out, however, that Percy is an idiot. So, while MG does seem to have a weird fondness for him at first, that quickly disintegrates when he ditches her because he needs to unditch his sick sister who he left at the farm alone to come to the murder circle with Murder God. So yeah, Murder God hates him now. With that, the Awakened and their new member Percy are like, hey, let's try to get Christine again. So they try to rip her story from her cold, dead hands. And turns out she's the only one not dead in her story. She came here looking for the serial killer who murdered her family outside of the murder games, and she's not letting that go anytime soon. Except she kinda does, really quickly, when she gets the opportunity to shoot the guy, because here's the twist. Their characters have been playing as friends since season 1. Turns out he's some scared dude named Junior, no last name, and he's begging her to shoot him, but she doesn't and tries to snatch the story out of him, but MG says, nope, that's for another episode. And then we get into the Christine and Junior suffering arc. Turns out, Junior was sipping that murder party juice before even officially getting in the game, because he was recruited into a cult called the Black Stars as a teen and was so starved for affection he was convinced by his new cult dad that murdering people was a good idea. Turns out he still had some morals though, because after murdering Christine's family he was like, oh wait, murder is wrong, and went on the lam from the cult. So Christine wished to make him suffer forever and Junior was like, bet, without even being aware of it, so they just kinda stuck together up to that point. So things happened and they both agreed that being forced into endless death cycles sucked, so they obviously pulled the Hunger Games and said, yeah, we're not playing anymore, and MG was pissed about it because she lost her girlfriend and also a cult member. So you know, things are going pretty bad for her. Scored 2 for the Awakened. And then they get extra lucky by finding out that Percy is actually useful. His farm boyish charms are making one of the sleepers' eyes flutter, and they might be waking her up soon. And Murder God is like, bet, and lets them do it by allowing Percy to flirt with the girl so much they get too close and then MG murders him right in front of the poor thing's eyes. He got better, but tell that to Valencia, who just lost her second farm boyfriend. Turns out, she's a princess from a whole nother universe in the Problem Empire ruled by her mom, the queen, and the terrible King Artorius. She met a different farm boy named Wilhelm and found out her father was kind of a jerk and also insane. Artorius kills Wilhelm's parents, so Wilhelm tells Valencia, alright, I'm out, viva la revolution. And Valencia's like, but daddy, I love him! And Artorius is just not having it. Didn't matter though, because Wilhelm and co burst into the castle to viva that revolution and find Artorius having turned into a whole deer man, trying to kill his daughter and wife in the name of the Black Stars. You know, them Black Stars. And they're just like, what? So they kill him and then they rip Valencia to literal bloody shreds. Valencia is so distraught by remembering her gruesome death that she initiates the best episode of the series so far, aka the Lotus Eater, aka magical land where all your dreams come true. The Awakened are all having a wonderful time in their fake dream worlds. Vincent gets to see his wife and kids. Grace has a normal life because, you know, she's not, like, separated in this one for a while. Tommy is getting married. Percy's sister is fine and he's going to art school. Junior went to college and lives with his cult dad and a friend. And Valencia is also getting married to Wilhelm with the blessing from her supportive father. Christine is mysteriously missing, but that should be fine. Everyone's happy. But knock knock, it's the bringer of bad news, McGillicuddy. You're still in the games, guys. And Vincent is so tired, but eventually his ridiculous sense of duty wins him over, so they go systematically wake everyone up again. They find Grace, who has put herself back together, get Tommy out of his streaming chair, Percy walks away to get back to his real sister, and Junior yells at his cult dad, who is also apparently a giant bird, because Black Stars. They go get Valencia away from her dear father, and convince her to come with them. Luckily for the Awakened, Valencia has always cared more about her people than herself, so she leaves Fake Helm at the altar and the Lotus Eater machine breaks. And Murder God loses it. She tries to call all of them out, but they just come back with the power of friendship and found family, which she just does not get at all, being a literal god of murder, and she had an actual breakdown. She just shuts down, and it's actually kinda sad. And leave it to a kid to notice when their best friend is sad. Before the current Awakened can truly celebrate, another person awakes. An 8-year-old, Thorn Blue. This kid has apparently seen a lot in their short lifetime, and good old Emmy is their best friend. And why would anyone abandon their best friend for a couple of strangers? And with that, the young kid Thorn Blue destroys any possible celebration the Awakened would have had. The deal said everyone had to follow Vincent, and Thor decided he wanted to stay with Murder God. A group of adults were outed by a single child. That's it. Game over. Or maybe it isn't. I mean, there is a season 3 coming out after all. Look, there are some details I definitely missed, like the fact that McGillicuddy had multiple faces he puts on and isn't technically awake, and also what happened to Christine, but those are still part of the show's larger mystery, and it's another reason why you should sit down and listen to it if you get the chance. Like, how will the Awakened react to their current darkest hour? Will they ever get home? Is Murder God what she seems? Will Kristen ever suggest you watch episode 1 first? The answer to the last one is no. There's a recap of the first 6 episodes with clips if you're interested, and an abridged version of each episode presented in logs if you don't have time to watch the whole series, though you could be missing some things without it. DMP is a labor of love, and we've enjoyed telling you the story so far. Heck, I'm doing this not just because I'm in it, but because I really love the series and I want to get more people involved. The show has grown so much since its first season. It now has an original soundtrack, and each episode has some really gorgeous illustration nowadays. We even took the time to do the anime trope of a new theme song each season. So please, give Discord Murder Party a listen on Internet Remix's YouTube channel. There's a playlist. Or check out the related videos if you just want some good content. Take a look after this video and see how you feel. And for those of you that get it,
have a dandy mystical day!